Y3 News continues.
Well, good morning. Now that the snowfall has stopped, you'll notice that the main roads are relatively clear across the Ozarks.
However, city crews in the Ozarks are still working to get residential areas cleared out. Raquel Harrington is joining us this morning at Weston College, south of the Paul Mueller Company in Springfield, where a driver had to be rescued from high water from a water main break. Raquel?
Yeah, right over here, as you can see, it looks like an ice skating rink, but that is not what that is. This is a water main break, and a little bit more further down, you can see the indentation of where that vehicle was stuck at early this morning. Now, apparently, officers had no clue about this water main break until they got the call of that vehicle being stuck right over here. This is just all the more reason why they are urging people to just be careful, be mindful when you are out driving. Now, what we do know is that this water is about a foot and a half deep. The officer that I spoke with said when he drove through it to try to assist the vehicle that was there, he said it was pretty high up on his tires as well. So again, guys, just be careful when you are out here. Now, what we do know, the person in the vehicle seems to be all right. He was waving at us early this morning when the car was being towed away, and we saw him walking around a little bit after that. But again, I cannot stress this enough. You have to be careful when you are driving on these neighborhood and these residential roads, because they are very slick, they are very icy. And look, take a look right here. Just when you are turning down these residential roads, you're gonna come up on things like this. It's a lot of snow, and you see a lot of indentation from other tires. And this is how we are seeing other cars and stuff get stuck right here. But I actually spoke with the city of Springfield, and they say they are working as hard as they can, guys, to get these neighborhood and these residential areas cleaned up for you.
Our goal is, to not have residents go more than 6 blocks before they get to a plowed street within a neighborhood, but it's usually only typically 2 to 3. But those roads should be, they're partially covered now, but with the sun today, it will be, those should be almost clear by the end of the day, if not tomorrow for sure.
All right, so if you guys can take a look at this road right here, just to give you an idea of how crazy the roads can vary. This road right here, this is considered one of the good roads, what we're seeing. But if you take a look at this one, I don't know if you guys can really see it, but the one adjacent to the one we're standing at right now, that one is very difficult to get across. I saw another crew right over there get stuck. So you want to be careful no matter where you are in apartment complexes. Be careful, because when the snowplows go through your parking lot, it may put compact ice and snow behind your car. So you want to be careful and just be safe. And I'm going to toss it over to Lexi at the Alert Center. Lexi, how's it going?
Hey, good morning, Raquel. Thanks so much. I love the demonstration there showing us what the side street's going to look like compared to those main roads. And you can see that a little bit more here on our cameras with Ozarks traffic as well. So take a look at the bottom right-hand one. That is the one I've been pointing most people to. That's US 60 in Fremont. Okay, we can actually see the pavement of the road this morning, which is a huge improvement. However, you know that some of them could still be partly covered, like the one above that. That's Campbell and Olive near the downtown area. To demonstrate this a little bit more, our MoDOT Travelers map is looking like a couple of different colors this morning. We know that dark blue means that those roads are still partly covered. Then the light blue is mostly clear. And for those little bits of purple, that means those are still completely covered. So be careful in some of those counties. Aside from that incident that Raquel was at, we are not seeing any crashes at this time, which is great news. If you're about to leave, take it slow. Allow that extra time still this morning. Back to you.
Lexi, thank you. It's been a tough week for RDOT crews near Jonesboro. District 5 is reporting 3 accidents involving their vehicles taking out a snowplow and a salt spreader. Because of this, they are asking more people to stay off the roads if they can and give them plenty of room to do their work.
We're also checking on the power situation this morning. Emergency status for Springfield City Utilities right now. This orange alert here, level 2. That is 1 level away from those rolling blackouts. Another major provider of the Ozarks, Liberty Utilities. It says the peak alert will be in effect until midday tomorrow. Checking the total outages, though, right now, no current outages reported. For the state of Missouri, we are blue, and that's a good thing. The Show Me State says there's not really any power outages to report. 113 at last check. But down in Arkansas, Newton County has been the problem, I guess, so far today. 200 Carroll County Electric Co-op folks were out at 5 a.m. Right now we're up to 40, so they are taking care of those folks in Newton County. But as you can see, most of the natural state is blue, and we'll keep an eye on this throughout the morning.
The energy crisis brought on by a spike in demand during this cold snap is not only forcing households to conserve energy, but local manufacturers as well. The Paul Mueller Company, based in Springfield, has a global impact. The factory just off Chestnut Expressway manufactures everything from milk coolers to pharmaceutical equipment for companies worldwide. Company leaders didn't think twice when they were asked to conserve energy.
So we immediately began curtailing our usage of natural gas, electricity, and all those things, and continue that and have plans to continue that throughout the entire situation. We live and work in the community, and it's very important for Paul Mueller Company that we play our part no matter what the situation is.
Right now, company officials say their production has not been impacted by the need to conserve energy, but that could change depending on how long this crisis lasts.
So if you're looking to save some power at home, there are plenty of things you can do in addition to turning off the lights. Power companies say minimize the use of large appliances like the oven and dishwasher and hold off on doing your laundry until maybe this weekend. Unplug any small appliances that you're not using. Also seal any drafty doors and windows. And of course, you can always turn down that thermostat just a couple of degrees.
A major cleanup is happening at Missouri State University. Frozen pipes burst inside 2 buildings Wednesday. At Plaster Student Union, the water damage is so bad, the school has closed the food court area. It might not even reopen until Monday. The mess isn't as bad as across the street at the Blair Shannon dorm. Pipes in a ceiling burst, sending water gushing down into the lower floor and commons area. Luckily, the water didn't leak further, so students could return to their dorm rooms last night.
And if you're looking for ways to look at road conditions or how to stay out of the cold, we have all that information online here at KY3.com. Just look for this, First Alert Weather, resources for wintry weather in the Ozarks. Underneath this page, you will see links to the Missouri and Arkansas road conditions, as well as the latest forecast, school closings as well. And something also very important, Jackie, is going to be those warming shelters. That map can be seen right back here at the bottom of that page.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, dangerously cold temperatures are continuing to keep those warming shelters full. We again have a link to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services site available at KY3.com, which shows where those warming shelters are located. You can also find the numbers and locations of all of the shelters by clicking the pins that you see on the map.
Well, let's meet Ermel, the dachshund who recently adopted Beethoven the boar. A wild boar came to live with the Calden family after its mother died in an accident. The young animal, hypothermic and malnourished, so Ermel took over feeding the boar. The 13-year-old dog and the wild pig are not the only four-legged animals in this family. They also have a fellow pig that lives outside in the garden. Katie, I want one of these.
Oh,
look at that sweet thing.
Yeah, the whole time, as soon as I saw the boar and the dog, I looked over at Jackie to see her facial expression through the whole story. And it's, if words couldn't say it, it was like, oh my goodness, how cute is that? I want to.
I want one right now.
Something like that. And even Chad wants one. Not me.
It's great.
Not me. I got a dog. Don't need a pig.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
have 2 guinea pigs, if that counts. Ugh.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay, there you go.
That counts.
They won't get as big as that pig, though.
That's true. At least you hope not.
They're pretty big.
Temperatures this morning in the lower to mid-teens for most of us. Cloud cover has saved us from dropping, but I think the clouds are going to break up today, and the warm-up should begin or progress a little bit. I'll have the forecast for you. First, let's do weather school question. Wind is caused by changes in what? Temperature, cloud cover, or pressure? We'll have the answer coming up after the forecast.
And now, KY3 First Alert Weather.
Good morning. On this Thursday, we are waking up with cold temperatures this morning, still keeping an eye on the roads for you.
I guess the good news, Brandon, is the sun will come out, and even though it won't get above freezing, it'll help out with all those roads.
Yeah, it is. As soon as the blacktop shows through, the sun kind of absorbs some of that, and it really should help at least a little bit today. I want to start with your weekend forecast because it is looking better. I mean, temps are going to crawl uphill. I think tomorrow we're freezing. That normally wouldn't be a big deal in February, but after, I think this is 11 days now that we've been at or under, mostly under, this is going to be a nice warm-up. 43 Saturday, and then on Sunday, 44. Look, there's a lot of snow cover to get rid of, and there'll be spots as cool as the upper 30s, I think, this weekend, but it's still a trend up. Maybe a few showers on Sunday. It's a weak system, not much moisture to work with, so I'm not expecting much. Cloud cover is pretty widespread this morning. There are a couple of areas. See the clearing down here, northwest Arkansas, beginning to get into southwest Missouri, and then another area up here in central Missouri. And in those two spots, we've got Rogers and Camdenton that have been down into the single digits. You'll also notice a real small speck of white every now and then showing up. Pretty much anywhere there's cloud cover this morning, it's in that temperature range, that cloud layer is, where we're seeing flurries develop. So don't be shocked when you see snowflakes flying this morning, but they're not going to amount to anything more than a dusting. Weather Watcher temps this morning: 10 in Hartville, 11 in Morrisville, Cross Timbers is 10, 11 in Rawa, 21 at Theodosia, they're the warm spot, 19 down at Mountain Home, 17 in Harrison, and 20 in Kimberling City. And I think we're going to see at least partial sunshine today. So the clouds kind of break up, excuse me, and then with at least some very minor melting because of the sun, not because of the air temp, we'll likely develop some additional cloud cover through the day. I'm going to get the frog out of my throat. When I come back, we're going to talk the jet stream change that's going to bring that warm up in just a couple of minutes.
You're just choked up because the clouds are leaving, Brandon,
yeah,
right? That's it.
So sad.
All right, thank you so much. Facebook is taking major steps in Australia that many are not happy about. What the Australian government says about their actions, next.
And now, KY3 First Alert Weather.
All right, let me tell you the jet stream right quick. We've got a ginormous dip in it right here. We call this a trough, and it's a very sharp one, allowing that cold to plunge into the middle of the country, and it's kind of been that way for a while. On the other side of the jet, we've got lots of moisture here. They're having a mess with winter weather from Virginia down through still southern Texas this morning. But notice what happens here. The jet kind of flattens out, and it curves just north of us. That typically means we warm up. Indeed, we're going to warm up some, but we've got snow cover, I mean, pretty much the entire deep south right now. We've got snow in Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas. I mean, it's all around. So we're going to have to do some melting before we have a big warm up. A nice little trough out here to the west, but a weak one on Sunday. That'll bring a few showers. That comes through. And then primarily the jet's going to be north of us for several days, which will allow temps next week to come back up, finally. And there are signs of some more Arctic air, but sliding primarily to our northeast by the end of the month. 23 to 27 for our high temps today. Some flurries at least early, and then some partial sunshine. Tonight we're going to be cold. 4 in Missouri, 8 in Arkansas. And you'll notice the trend uphill still continues. A couple of showers Sunday. That looks to be it until perhaps the tail end of next week. Weather school question. It's time for Smackdown. Wind is caused by changes in temperature, cloud cover, or pressure.
My turn to go first. I am going to guess pressure.
It's pressure.
It is pressure. Very
Yes,
good.
it is.
Are you still tied for the week?
I'm ahead by 1, so we could tie tomorrow if I have a mistake. We could tie
snap.
Yep.
Make it a good one tomorrow. All right, thanks, Brandon. In Australia, people on Facebook can no longer find and share news. The company blocked users and outlets from posting news content Wednesday in response to proposed legislation forcing tech companies to pay publishers. Australia's treasurer blasted Facebook's actions as harmful.
In respect to Facebook's actions today, Facebook was wrong. Facebook's actions were unnecessary. They were heavy-handed, and they will damage its reputation here in Australia.
The former CEO of Facebook for Australia and New Zealand says he's disappointed in the actions of the social media giant.
I think you can see it one of two ways. One, it's just it's a commercial negotiation. This is just a tactic in that negotiation to kind of scare the horses. But on the other hand, I think you could see it as a kind of a shot across the bow of Australian democracy.
Access was also blocked to government resources, including on the coronavirus pandemic, emergency services, and weather reports.
The NASA rover is approaching the Mars atmosphere ahead of a landing today. Now, it's the riskiest step in an epic quest to bring back rocks that could answer whether life ever existed on the red planet. A 6-wheeled vehicle named Perseverance will be visiting that red planet, long known as a death trap for incoming spacecraft. Arissa Stilley, a native of Wheaton, is a landing team engineer. We featured her on Ozark's Life a few weeks back. She told the Associated Press this week that, quote, "We've had a pretty good run of successful missions recently. and you never want to be the next one that isn't. It's heartbreaking when that happens, end quote. Touchdown is scheduled for just before 3 o'clock our time, and we will have that live stream on our KY3 Facebook page and website.
6:52 this morning. It is going to be a little warmer today when temperatures will climb above freezing. Still ahead on the Ozarks CW.
Good morning, everybody. One last check of weather at 6:55. We are still seeing some snow on the radar. It's real light. We're talking just a real light dusting, but we're picking it up now. A couple of bands there that are just slightly heavier in the panhandle of Christian County, probably between Nixa and Billings right now. But don't be shocked when you walk out this morning and say, oh my goodness, it's snowing. Very lightly. 13 in Springfield. We're still cloudy. 12 in Joplin, 12 in Monette, 14 at Branson, 9 at Camdenton. They've been as low as 7. And the wind chill, we've had worse this week, that's for sure. 2 in Springfield right now, -2 at Rolla. We've got 5 at West Plains, 1 at Branson, and -1 in Monette. So some flurries primarily early. The clouds will gradually break up today. Don't think they go away completely, but we'll at least improve the main roadways where the blacktop's showing through. High temp in Springfield 23 and Harrison down to 27 with lows tonight back down into the single digits.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Here in the Alert Center, your Thursday morning drive is looking much smoother than what we've seen really all week right now. I'm not seeing any crashes, which is great news if you're about to leave the house. Stick with us for the latest on the CW.
Lexi, thank you. Convoy of Hope will be leaving to go to Texas in the next half an hour to help those affected and being impacted by the winter storms. Raquel Harrington joins us with a preview. Raquel.
Hey, good morning, Jackie. That's right. So we are at Convoy of Hope Springfield Distribution Center, where these tractor trailers right here behind me, several of them will be departing in just a little bit to head to Texas. As we know, millions and millions are having a hard time, a difficult time because of this winter weather with record low temps hitting the south. Unlike here in the Ozarks, we are somewhat prepared for this winter weather, but down south, they're not prepared at all. So this is one of the many reasons why Convoy of Hope is heading down there. People are not only without power, they've been without food. It has been water main breaks throughout the state. So it's a lot of stuff going on down there, and they're working to help. Now, stick with us because we're going to be out here for a little bit to see them pull off. And you guys can't see it, but I can hear it. It's a lot going on as they are packing these tractor trailers. So we're going to have all that and more coming up a little bit later. So stick with me. Live in Springfield this morning, I'm Raquel Harrington.
All right, Raquel, thank you so much. Yeah, there was, last check, 3 million without power in Texas. A lot of that grid is just being overloaded down in the Lone Star State. Also, oil refineries down there, they're being taxed. So we could see an increase of fuel prices. We could also see a lot of other things coming out of Texas. So it's a good thing Convoy of Hope is going down there to help out like they have done for many disasters all across our nation. Join us over on the Ozarks CW. We'll talk more about the snow that's packed still across our area. The roads, the main roads are looking good. It's those side roads, those back roads, the communities that still have that ice pack on top. Be very careful if you are venturing out today. If not, turn over to the Ozarks CW. We'll see you there in 2 minutes.